What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can probably see here, I did run over some sort of a screw or a bolt here, so I've got a hole in my tire that I need to plug. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I go ahead and plug this hole up so that you can get some more life out of these tires. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so obviously the first thing that you're going to want to do is just to go ahead and lift up the car on the side where you need to take your wheel off. So in this case, this is the passenger side front where I've got this nail in. So what you're going to want to first do is go ahead and put in my case, of course, you're going to want to go the opposite corner. You're going to chock the back driver's side wheel. You could do both really if you want to be on the safe side, but at least chock one of those wheels so that your car doesn't roll back on you. And then you want to just go ahead and loosen each of the lugs just ever so slightly so that they're loose. Then you're going to want to go ahead and jack the car up. And once it's jacked up where the tire is no longer touching the ground, you can go ahead and loosen all those lug nuts all the way off so that you can take the wheel off. So, obviously it's going to be car specific, but in my case for a Tacoma, jack point's going to be right underneath here. Check your owner's manual for where your jack point is. All right, so really quick before we get started, this is just a toolkit for a tire patch kit repair that I got from Amazon, and it's going to have pretty much everything that you're going to need for the job. Comes with some needle nose pliers in case you need to take whatever you got in there out, tire pressure gauge, a razor blade. The all important, of course, the plugs themselves. So it's got a good amount of them there. This is the tool that you've got here. This is going to allow you to actually push the plug in. You got this tool here, which is going to give you the ability to go ahead and push through any debris that remains in there once you take that out. And then, of course, you've got this here, which is it's either a lubricant or a sealant. Not sure, but you're going to also want to use that whenever you're installing these plugs. And so now that we've got the wheel off, obviously you can get a much better look at what I'm working with here. So pretty decent sized screw there. We'll see in a few minutes how thick it is, and go ahead and get that plugged up. So let's get to it. All right, so because my tire wasn't losing any air pressure the entire time, we're going to go ahead and want to air this out. So just with this standard regular tire pressure gauge, there's a little nipple here at the end. You're going to use that to push into your air valve itself, and that'll release the air. All right, so once the air is pretty much all out of the tire, we're going to go ahead and get this removed. So I'm going to use these needle nose pliers, and hopefully I can get some leverage using this washer to just pull this out. That only got it out a little bit, so I'm going to have to bring out something bigger. So just going to use some channel locks here to get a good grip on the head of this screw, and then just yank it out. And there it is. So it's not too thick, I guess. I was expecting a little bit worse, but not too bad. We should be able to get that plugged. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is get this tool out. And again, this is going to be to push any debris through as well as to enlarge the hole so that we can get that plug in. So all you do here is just stick this in. And yeah, so I mean, it's pretty hard to get in there. So that hole that screw caused wasn't too big. So we're going to need to do this a few times and just kind of twist it in like so in order to make sure that that plug can get in there and still be snug. So I'm kind of going in a twisting motion in the direction that this tool itself is curving as well, just to again make sure that that hole is large enough for the plug. Now, quick note with the location of this puncture. This is about as close to this edge that I'm going to safely recommend on YouTube to plug a hole. Any closer, you're getting really close to the sidewall, and that you do not want to fix. That'll cause a blowout, and it's going to be a dangerous situation. Now, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I've seen some people go a little bit further as well and not have any issues. So do that at your own risk. Tire shops will not do it for you. So you're going to have to do it yourself. But this is about as close to the edge of the sidewall that I'm pretty much comfortable with going. Maybe I'd go to right about this spot here. But any closer to that, you're really risking some damage being caused to the tire as well as potentially your vehicle and yourself. All right, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is going ahead and feeding the plug itself through this hole right here in the actual tool where we're going to push this through into the tire. So it's going to take a little bit of work, but you should be able to get it through. And if you're struggling with it, what you can do is just kind of get something to wedge in to the top here, because this does separate, in order to just spread that open a bit so that you can slide this through a little bit easier. All right, so the way that I'm getting this through, just for reference, this is just the pry tool itself. I just shoved it right into that gap there, just to, again, open it up a little bit. And then I'm just shimmying this through just to kind of get it started. Then we can pull this out and then go ahead and just pull it through. And like so. So you just really want to get it to where both sides are even. And then this is going to get pushed back and then into the tire. So the next thing that we're doing is going ahead and just dipping this into the sealant or the lube, whatever we're going to call it. And then you're ready to go ahead and get this pushed in. And so essentially, again, all we're doing is just forcing this into that puncture hole. And you're going to have to use a decent amount of force. So don't be scared to use your muscles for this. And you're getting this to the point where these stick out only about a half an inch to an inch. So I just went ahead and repositioned the tire so that I can get a better angle at this and leverage some body weight. So obviously, of course, according to the directions, you want to let that stick out a little bit further. But, at the end of the day, I'm not going to go in and try to pull this out and redo it. Ideally, like I said, half an inch to an inch sticking out. Now, with that razor blade, all you're going to do is just go ahead and cut off the end of that so that it's flush with the rest of the tire, and you're good to go. All right, so what we're going to do now is just go ahead and inflate the tire, and then we'll do a quick test to see if there's any leakage happening. All right, so now that I've got the tire up to 33 psi, what I'm going to do here is just grab a spray bottle. This is just the mixture of water and soap. We're going to spray it onto that plug itself. The water and the soap will help kind of bubbles form if there is any air coming out of it. So all you do is just spray it on. And then just watch and wait for any bubbles to form. And if you're going to have a leak, you're going to probably see it pretty early on. And I'm not seeing any bubbles forming aside from the bubbles from the soap itself. But if there was actual bubbles from an air leak, you'd be seeing them coming out. So that looks to be a pretty good seal to me. So we're going to go ahead and get this tire installed. Again, the first bolt that you want to put on is going to be the one that's on the top. And just kind of screw it in as far as you can. And the second one should be the one that's right across. Or if you've got 5 lugs, the one that's mostly all the way across. And now you can just leave this on as it is. Always make sure that you thread these by hand first to make sure that they are screwing on freely. That way you know that you've caught the thread right. So when you go to actually bolt them on with your lug wrench or your impact, you're not just driving and creating your own path of new threads. And so always remember too, when you are tightening down these lug bolts, you go in a cross pattern or a star pattern. So I'm going to start here, go down here, go across here, go across here, go across here, go across here. That's going to create the most flush and level tightening surface for the wheel itself. And so all these, before I fully tighten them down, I'm just going to go ahead and get the wheel as flush to the hub there as possible before I go ahead and drive them down. And so again, if you guys have seen my other videos, there are torque specifications that you can drive this down to. Be my guest, look those up, use your torque wrench. I kind of have a feel for how these need to be tightened for my car. And I mean, the wheels haven't fallen off, so I'm going to keep going with it this way. All right, so that's pretty much it. Just reinstalled the valve stem cover. We're going to go ahead and get the car lowered now. We're going to check the tire pressure again, see if it's not leaking, and keep an eye on it overnight, check it and see what it's doing in the morning, but that should hold. Now, full disclosure, some people will say that this is a temporary fix. Maybe, but in all my time of plugging car tires like this, I haven't had any issues, and I've had tires go the rest of their life without having any issues from a hole that's been plugged or whatever the case is. So use your best judgment. If you're not comfortable, if the hole is too big, take it to a professional, see what they can tell you. But again, for a hole like that, I don't have any issues with this tire running to the end of its life. So take that with whatever grain of salt that you want to take it with, but it's worked for me. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about tire patches like this. Are they permanent, or are they something that's just temporary to get you through before you can get a new tire in the next 50, 100 miles? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.